Good afternoon and welcome, one and all. And you know what? I enjoyed myself. Had a great time. I loved seeing. I enjoyed myself. Had a great time. I loved seeing all the places, going all to a bunch of different conventions and hanging out with different people, eating different food. But I gotta say this, there are some people out there in the world, they like to travel, they love to do things, and there are some people who do not. I am in the do not category, I got a lot of people who are like, but you gotta see this, you gotta see that. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta see things, and that's just not me. But I did love getting to meet some new fans. I did love getting to hang out with some of my fellow co-stars from a number of different shows that I've been doing over the years. And I felt very enriched by my experiences dining on all of the different cuisines from all around. So it was a lot of fun, So that's it. Who released the goblins, other than you? And look, if you've ever been to my channel, everyone here releases goblins. We're all goblins here. That's okay. But yeah, lots of shenanigans were had and lots of cool things were happening. And I landed this morning at like 9 and then pretty much just came home and passed out. But hold on, let me. Also, by the way, I'm doing some stuff on the fly. Just because it's been a while since I've been at my rig, so this is my first stream back, so everything's looking a bit yeah. So there you go. Hey, Jay Spites, thank you for the sub, you bloody legend, you. Cast we could see, and all things fantasy. Reynata, good to see you. Hi, how you doing? Marcus the storyteller, Turquoise Vixen, good to see all of you guys as well. So anyway, why am I streaming? I'm streaming today because I, on the flight over, like literally just before I was about to fly, I got my PDF copy of War of the Immortals. Now, for those of you who don't know what the hell this is, War of the Immortals is the new era for Pathfinder 2nd Edition's campaign setting. It is a new introduction to a bunch of different elements to the 2nd Edition system, things that sound familiar from 1st Edition, but sorry, I am sporting a cough, so please bear with me while we do stuff. But yeah, a bunch of concepts that were in 1st Edition that I think have been well refined and reintroduced into the new one as well, including some familiar faces, but we'll go into that in a little bit. Cookiemon, I'm trying to break your streak. I'm trying to break everyone's streak. No one tell Schooly I'm here. No, it's fine. I'll be here for a little bit. So yeah, anyway, since I had the time to actually read it on the flight over, I didn't want to waste any time, honestly, just being honest. I didn't want to waste any time. I wanted to share you guys, my thoughts, my feelings about this book, how it is, and yeah, just show you guys what it's all about. Am I back home? Yes, I am back home, back home and enjoying life and all things. Crypt Walker, good to see you. Jazz, thank you so much for the lovely bits. Thank you for making it rain 10 glorious bits. Malakisa, thought Dag was trying to break that's it. I'm just trying to break everyone's streak, specifically Schooly Eyes. That's it. It's just Schooly Eyes streak I'm trying to break, because that man's like at I don't know, I feel like 500 or something. I don't know. It's a lot. I want this book so much. Okay, well, Crypt, fear not, for I will share with you what is in this book, some of my thoughts and impressions on it, and we'll go through a few different things. First of all, I'm not going to waste people's times, I'm not going to make you wait to the end of this whole thing to tell you how good this book is. So let me start by saying this. The War of the Immortals is a very flavor-heavy book, right? There's tons of stuff in here that is obviously mechanical and very practical, and I think a lot of people will get a good use out of the stuff that is available in this book. However, I would say the majority of what you will find in here, it is almost what I consider to be the perfect marriage between a campaign setting book and the mechanic book. I get tons of lore, tons of mythos. There's an entire gazetteer chapter in here that covers what has happened during the events of God's reign and the new rise of the new era. And of course, we also then have the mechanics that support this massive change. For those of you who do not know what's happening in the Pathfinder setting, the war god Gorham has been slain. He has been cut down from his divine place. He is dead. He is gone. And his blood has rained down onto Galarian. Now, technically 3 types of blood have landed on Galarian. The first being a bright crimson, which of course has invoked the spirit of war anywhere that the crimson blood has touched. The second is a silver blood, which is the divine essence within Gorham, and those whom it touches or interacts with are kind of given divine powers, which has led us to the birth, I guess, in 2nd edition of the mythic rules. So with divine essence now all over Galarian, we are now seeing mythic characters becoming more present here. Mythic monsters, mythic creatures, encounters, etc., and all that. The third is kind of like there's not much information about what specifically it is, but it's kind of like the thing in the void. We think that maybe Rovagug is kind of coming back, sort of deal. It is an essence of the Devourer who is now escaped from within Gorham. It's hard to say, but something has leaked out and we don't know what it is, but it's awoken some pretty weird, destructive shit around the place. So, there we go. That's the thing. There is also the War Shards. War Shards are literally shards of the suit of armor that Gorham was housed in, littered all around the place. Some of them are just inert pieces of very valuable material. Others still carry pieces of that divine essence, and there's kind of like this big arms race, I guess, to try and find these War Shards and do something with them. Honestly, I'm so excited about the Chelish angle of it, because they've basically done the thing you'd expect Cheliax to do. Cheliax was like, hey, we're giving a bounty for anyone who hands in their shards. You don't hand in your shard, however, we're going to kick open your door, and we're going to take them from you, and then we're going to arrest you, then we're going to kill you. Like, they've gone full, like military arms race kind of thing for these, and I love that. I love that about Cheliax. It kind of reinvigorates this whole thing. But that's not the only strange thing that's happened. There's been so many different things that have changed, so many different story things, but we're going to go into that as we move through the book. So, there you go. Mally, enjoy your work meeting. Have a great night. Have a great time. Have a great day. Yeah. Just look away. Now, before we begin, as always, this is a DAG read stream, which means no donations and the like are required. It's just me. It's just DAG. We are coming to the end of the month for Eurodag, so preemptively, thank you already so much, everyone. This is actually the first time I've seen how much we've gone through. For over 50% of what we need to raise for, just DAG existing. It's amazing, and thank you so much. Not being here always kind of brought me a lot of stress, but that goes a long way to helping put a lot of my excuse me, a lot of my troubles and my woes at ease. So yes, thank you all very kindly. Okay, so here we go. Let's move on and take a look at the book. There we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. Oh, is it just gonna scroll with that? Let me I want to skip by page. Here we go. Nope. Ugh, no, God no. Michael has goofed. Is that it? Nope. One page. There we go. Okay. Yes, there it is. All right, cool. All right, so starting off, legendary heroes, we can see here we've got 2 new classes, the Animist and the Exemplar. The Animist is someone who wields the power of the spirits and can use them to great effect in order to influence the world around them. There are various types of spirits and the ways they can deal with, and, that's how they go. Exemplars are those who have been touched by the essence of the divine and are now using that as part of their makeup. So these are kind of like I'd almost say that they're another variation of the Oracle in a way. They are godlike beings, godlings even, although there is a godling thing. It's you know, exemplars are all about, you know, kind of like the demigod kind of powered creatures. So, you know, there it is. Servants of Power, so we have more stuff here. Now you can see that there is in the book, I don't know if you can read it, but there's War of the Immortals story part 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's a bit of the lore that I was talking about before, so, you know, there you go. Yeah, the art does look very metal. Oh, yeah, so I can't wait to talk to you about those ones, because those ones are the kind of mythic archetypes that are there, but we'll come to that in a little bit as well. Then we have, of course, the Nephilim lineages, so they expand upon the Nephilim, which, for those of you who don't know, are the part divine heritage that come from, you know, various people's character building. So if you were to build say a Nephilim, you would build a human. It would then have the heritage of the, you know, your human Nephilim, and then you've got like little different variations on them to be like, say, a demon version or an angel version or whatever. So yeah. Multi-class appetite, multi-class archetype, the Avenger class. Now, they didn't say it, but the Avenger class feels very much like it touches on the Slayer from first edition, so that's really cool. The Blood Rager, very much similar to the Blood Rager from the first one. The Seneschal is interesting. The Seneschal is kind of like a patronless witch, so that's interesting there. The Vindicator is a reimagining of the Inquisitor from the first edition, and the Warrior of Legend kind of, again, touches into that whole exemplar type thing for other people as well, so yeah. So this book does contain mythic rules, so we'll go into that, which goes into the next section here, Myths and Legends. Hello, what are you? You are Discord telling me I'm live. Brilliant, thank you, so kind. So, yes, mythic rules. From what I've read so far, and we will go into them a little bit, mythic rules are a lot simpler, I find, in this than they are in other versions. And it's much more easy as a GM to use and create mythic monsters and mythic creatures than in the previous edition. So I'm glad that that they've kind of touched on this. But I need to play it a bit more before I know how it works in practice. But, you know, we'll go into that in a bit. And lastly, Paths of the Immortals, which go into the mythic archetype types things, such as the Apocalypse Rider, the Archfiend, the Ascended Celestial, the Beast Lord, the Broken Chain, Eternal Legend, the Godling, as I mentioned before, the Prophesized Monarch, and the Wild Spell. So these are expanded archetypes. Then you have the Mythic Vault, which comes with all the mythic options for you as a GM to be able to use, ritual spells, artifacts, and equipment and stuff. Then Mythic Monsters and all the cool stuff that you can do with it. So you've got the 4 different templates, which you can apply to any monster, and then you have some pre-made, specifically mythic monsters here, which include a Demon Lord who steals people's identities, an Immortal Trickster who runs around causing mischief, one of the Kaiju, the Oliphant of Jandalay, who is one of the most renowned mythic enemies of the Pathfinder setting. I don't remember what Sublime Breath was. I think it was an angel, maybe. Verix that was, which is one of the spawns of Rovagog, and the Weaver of Webs, giant spider, you know, it's a giant spider. I was very surprised that they went with Agira as the Kaiju and not Mogura, because, you know, that's the Godzilla, you know, that's kind of what I thought they'd go with. Hey, Schooly Eye. Made it to not streak break. Nice. Brilliant. So yeah, I thought they'd go with Mogura, but they didn't, which is fine. I mean, maybe he's already in another one of the books. I haven't found him yet, but maybe he is. Who knows? You know what? Let's Google it really quick. Here we go. Mogura. Pathfinder 2nd edition. Mogura. Let's see, it's in first edition. Mogaru, that's the name. Pathfinder 2e. No. They've got some details for the spell called Summon Kaiju from Secrets of Magic. but it doesn't appear like there's specific stats for him specifically. Instead, there are hazards and things that happen around him, like, you know, buildings collapsing, earthquakes, and stuff. So there you go. So again, sticking with it, yes, I am very surprised that they went with Agira and not Mogaru. So yeah. Australia has its own mythic legend. Oh, stop it, you guys. That made me cry. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh god, I scrolled on the wrong thing. Here we go. Okay, so War of the Immortals. Again, we got this really cool little story, which I highly recommend you guys read. I'm not going to read it out for you, but we're talking about like the tie-ins and the other things that you need. So Divine Mysteries is a book that is coming out later on, so it does say that this will connect to the Divine Mysteries. Can't wait for that, but this is not what we're covering. This is just something you should know as well. Kaijus don't need stats, they should be hazards. Yes, I agree, 100%. But now they have stats, now I want them. I didn't want them until they gave me some. Do you see? It's a vicious cycle. Hey, Jen, driving to work. Drive safe, my friend. Drive safe. We are reading Pathfinder War of the Immortals. So, yeah. Divine Mysteries is out November 20th. Yes, it is. Fair enough. Oh, the giant spider. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the giant spider is pretty out there. Okay, here we go. So we have the versatile heritage of the Nephilim. So that's kind of cool. They're mortal scions, extraplanar outsiders, yada, yada, yada. We have the Animist, gains magic spells from spirits and apparitions. And the Exemplar, who channels the spark of the divine, true sacred relics called icons and draw powers from the epitaphs that they build for themselves. So there you go. That is our new stuff. Oh, that's a cool artwork. Look at that. So that is the god Akachek, rending Gorum in twain. Look at that. How cool is that? If for those of you having difficulty seeing, Akachek is the kind of like praying mantis thing on the far right of the screen. You can see one of his claws is like set out to the side, and the other claw is like swiping almost in a reverse claw strike in half with the suit of armor being pulled in twain. So there you go. So yeah, that looks really cool. That looks really cool. And I love that you can still see also the red and the silver drops going down as well. So there you go. Okay. Legendary Heroes, some more story stuff. This is more story stuff. Like I said, this book is built very much like a gazetteer as well, so you will encounter like pages of really cool stories. This story particularly talks about the journey southwards from their homeland for both the new iconic characters, which are Samo and Naoa. This is Samo. Samo is the animist character. So, you are the interlocutor between the seen and unseen, the voice that connects the mortal and the spiritual. Your bond with spirits manifesting in their distinct magic and allowing their knowledge to flow through you. You may favor apparitions that grant you healing magic. Others grant you spells of destructive power, or pick and choose between different apparitions as your environment and circumstances demand. You may consider your power as part of a sacred trust, or see your unique abilities as a sign that you've been chosen as a champion of two worlds. Whether you advocate for the mortals in the plane beyond, or whether you represent the spirit's interests, you provide the bridge between the realms, for you are the Avatar. Yes. So there we go. So they are a wisdom-based casting class. They have 8+ their con modifier, so it's kind of like your average sort of thing. They are experts with their will saves. Everything else is trained. They're skilled in religion and nature or occultism. So I guess that depends on the type of, sort of spiritualist you want to be. Trained in simple weapons, unarmed, light, medium, and unarmored. Spells and spell DCs. And yeah, cool. So pretty basic, in terms of just the basic proficiencies. Okay, so as we go through this, again, we're doing a breakdown, so this is not going to cover all the stuff that is in everyone else's class. We're just going to be giving basic thoughts, basic opinions on stuff. So, Apparition Attunement. The Animists have a gift for the divine that allows them to serve as conduits or bridges to the other world, so we know all this sort of stuff. Basically, each day during your daily preparations, you choose 2 apparitions from your list. Of these, you can choose one to be your primary and attune to it to gain the knowledge laws that are associated with it, as well as the spells associated with the apparition. Higher levels, you can attain an avatar form and you gain more powers. You can also use refocus in order to change your current attuned apparition, selecting from the others that you have. So, you know, you're not really stuck in whatever you choose for that particular day. For me, this strikes as two things. First of all, incredibly versatile, but also something that tells me that this is what they wanted to do with the medium that they didn't manage to do in first edition. So that's the first thing I kind of saw with how this works. Good night, Jazz. Sleep well. Goodbye. Give Matt a big hug for me as well. Is this a level 1 class? Do you have to be level 20? Level 1. Level 1, baby. This is a base class that you can use from any point in time. So we have our Animus spell list, which of course we can see, is not a huge number of spells as we go along, but you gain tons of other abilities as well. It's kind of like your secondary caster type deal. So yeah. Aw, thanks, Jazz. I'll probably do a stream, which will be a holiday stream at some point or another. Let everyone know things. So yeah, heightening spells, cantrips, vessel spells. Okay, here we go. Liturgist. You draw forth from the spirits of song and dance, and you transfer them into physical performances. So you gain a ton of feats and abilities that are associated with almost bardic-like abilities. The medium, which of course is you're good at being a conduit for spiritual energy, can associate freely with a wide range of apparitions, and tend not to form deep bonds with a single apparition other than the animus often developed. So from the looks of this, you basically channel people into you and you synchronize with them for short periods of time. The seer, you're sensitive to the presence of spirits of the undead. You can detect lingering spirits that offer you some defense against them, so you're anti-undead. Which is interesting because I thought the medium would be that, but there you go. The shaman, which is more of the natural spirit things, allow you to investigate the rare abilities to take on material forms and affect the physical world. So you find a spirit, you allow it to manifest physically and allow you to influence the world. So yeah, you can get a familiar with this and then expand upon that as you would. So I like the fact that there are very different ways of playing this that aren't just your spells. That you can have a familiar, you can boost yourself, you can summon the spirits of the undead to help you, or you can try to manifest other spirits to give you more spells. So it seems like this is kind of a similar jack of all trades that the bard was originally as well. So there you go. You get more apparitions as you go along, and yeah, so basically you just gain more apparitions and more abilities to use them. Yada yada yada. Okay. Apparition vessel spells. So animus apparitions. So there are many different apparitions here. Okay, so crafter in the vault are found in dungeons. They enjoy partnering with animists who complement them on their creation. So spirits of the craft. Custodians of groves and gardens, so farmlands, nature, that sort of thing. Hey, no worries, Turquoise. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I hope that you have a wonderful evening. I will probably do a much easier to digest video at some point or another. Actually, I've got a lot of videos coming up soon, so, look out for them too. Mwah! Sleep well! Big love! Echoes of the Lost Moments. Fortune telling, revealing the future, that sort of thing. Imposter in hidden places, being able to hide in shadows, use kind of like deception and subterfuge. Oh yes, please do. Lurker in the Devouring Dark. I don't know what this one was. What was this one? Oh, Water, Ice, and Void. So basically, kind of like the like kind of like your Great Old One kind of spirits and stuff. Monarch of the Fey Court, so you're using your Fey lore and your charming, your illusions, that kind of thing. Reveler in Lost Glee. Causing harm and discomfort to those who do not attuning to... So basically someone who, like, they laugh, they celebrate, they cheer, and, basically like your Caden Kalian kind of thing. Very, very happy, very, very excited kind of individuals. Stalker in the Darkened Borough. Ancient Forests and Hidden Places. That's kind of cool. I like that. Steward of Stone and Fire, Volcanoes and the like. Vanguard of the Roaring Waters, your rivers, your oceans, things like that. Witness to Ancient Battles. So this is kind of like your warriors of battlefields and stuff like that. And there you go. So that's quite a lot. I mean, honestly, compared to, because I remember I was saying in some of the earlier books that there were so many feat options for certain things. This is probably one of the things that I've seen the most, like whatever class feature is primary to your character. This is the one that I've seen the most variation for. So yeah, very, very cool. Again, we won't go over all the feats specifically, but just know that each of those different apparitions and stuff that you can conjure shape exactly what kind of person that you're going to be. If you follow with the apparitions of the volcano, you're going to have a lot more firepower than one who focuses on healing in the grove. If you've got illusions up, then of course that may complement certain things like the feats that associate with the darkness and the Cthulhian stuff. So lots of permeations of that, and I feel like it holds very true to the Pathfinder spirit of interchanging and swapping things around as you go. Next up is the Exemplar. As the War God died, his power reigned through many planes of creation, sparking conflict and instilling divine energy in those previously without it. Whether you were directly touched by his power, claimed it from an ancient being or artifact, or whether it was something long dormant in your lineage, a spark of divine now blazes within your soul, granting you abilities, sacred weapons, and divine signifiers that reach the realm previously reserved for the gods and legends. How you wield these tools and grow your power is for you to decide. You may become a hero, or you may turn to selfish ends, but one thing is certain. You intend to carve your epitaph into history, immortalized in memory of gods and mortals alike. So yeah, this is kind of like how I imagine Hercules being. So another book I must have. Must is a strong word. I would say if you want if you want your players to have a wide selection of things to use, the Player Core 2, and War of the Immortals pretty much covers a lot of the stuff for 2nd edition that you would need. If you don't intend to play Mythic, you can definitely go without this book, and that's a key thing. You can go without this book if you do not want to use Mythic. You can use this book even if you don't want to use Mythic, but I would say that a good chunk of this specific book and its cost is associated with the idea of Mythic rules and Mythic stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I would much rather, if I was starting off like with a brand new table, no one knew how to play and stuff like that, I would tell them, hey, here's the Player Core, that's what you're going with, that's how we're going to start. And then as we step into it, I might then introduce things like War of the Immortals. Mostly because I think brand new players might find learning the base rules on top of the Mythic rules to be a little challenging. That would be my only thought. But that's not to say they couldn't enjoy the Animist and the Exemplar on their own. But again, to buy a whole book for 2 classes may not necessarily be, the most thrifty of things. But hey, if you've got the means, you got the method, by all means, it's a great book. All right. Key attributes: Strength and Dex, 10 hit points, which means fighter class. It's Perception trained, expert in Fort and Will, trained in Religion, simple, martial, unarmed, light, medium, and unarmored. So yeah, you're a pretty standard fighter. No heavy armor, which is interesting because obviously most of these people who are now Exemplars got their power from Gorham. Maybe there's more explanation. Maybe there's a way to advance it later on. Who knows? All right, Divine Spark and Icons. Basically, your soul has a spark of divinity, which you can focus through a special item known as your icon, which are bodily features intrinsically linked to you. You place your Divine Spark into one of your icons, empowering you, and it represents your deeds and the like. So, in essence, what I understand about them is... So 43 and 47 are where the icons are. So we can have a look at them, but they're basically like features you're applying to your character as you are kind of developing your connection to the divine. Still trying to learn to play? Still trying to learn how to play? Stick with the first one. You don't need this one for a while. But if you have any questions about mythic rules and stuff, I'm happy to teach and oblige. That's just, you know, me in general. Okay. So the epitaph. So basically what it is you're almost trying to, with this character, define your legend. Imagine, if you would, trying to create a name for yourself, but also literally the deeds that you perform, the deeds that you do, are tied towards what these epitaphs happen to leave towards. So, for example, the brave. You perform deeds that show your fearlessness. The cunning. You are very, very wise, very, very cunning. The deft, you are, you know, subtle and precise. The proud, the mournful, the radiant. These different tags are what define your character and gives you bonuses based on these things to help go with this. Now, I like the idea, for sure, but my only concern is that if you define that for your character at level 1, it doesn't really lead itself into growth of a character's roleplay and personality. It's cool, but it effectively gives you a fate, you know. You as a player can still fight that fate, but it seems like fighting your fate fights the class in a way. Like trying to be a rogue who goes around wearing bells everywhere and makes a ton of noise and also is a bard, right? You can definitely do it, but there are certain things that, you know, you fight your own skills against. So, you know, there you go. Yeah, Dominion Epitaph, yada, yada, yada. So you've got more of these options as well. The Born of the Bones of the Earth, Dancer in the Seasons, of Verse Unbroken, Peerless Under Heaven, Restless as the Tide, Who Cries Thunder. So you basically have these things called your Spark Transcendence that are your buffs, your kind of like, you know, when you channel through your icons to create your energies and your powers. Like, for example, here, the Born of Bones and Earth. When you spark Transcendence while standing on the surface of stone or earth, you can choose to shatter the surface in a 10-foot emanation, turning it to difficult terrain. You are not affected by it. So it's kind of like the same way that your Kineticist has the ability to channel their key and open the gate. These guys use their Spark Transcendence, and they can get things from difficult terrain to temporary hit points, etc., etc., etc. Hey, Secondhand, good to see you. Hello. Mwah. Hey, Laura, good to see you too. I am safe and at home. Yes, there we go. Let's see. They do spirit damage with their attacks. Lots and lots and lots of buffs. More additional damage with their spirit striking. The litany of heroic deeds, yada yada. Okay. So you get more epitaphs: Healer of the World, Teacher of Heroes, Last Ruler, Thief of Moonlight. Again, these epitaphs go towards building your legend, and in doing so, when you spark Transcendence, you again get to do cool things. For example, the Last Ruler. After you spark Transcendence, you exude an air of authority. The start of your next turn, if any enemy fails an attack roll against you during this time, you may attempt an intimidation check to demoralize them as a free action as you rebuke their foolish attempt to stand against your authority, right? So, again, you are that whole thing. Hey, no worries. Work well. Ciao, ciao. To protect. Okay. Oh, here we go. British Armor Mastery. No, okay, cool. You don't get Heavy Armor Mastery. Just wanted to check that. Exemplar feats. So you've got a wide variety of exemplar feats. Again, a lot of this is dealing with that spark we mentioned before, but also with doing a lot of stuff in regards to your legend and your lore. One of the interesting ones here, again, Ray's Island. You churn the sea and fish You churn the sea and fish up stone, and you churn the sea and fish up stone so your enemies together can receive their punishment. Enemies within 30-foot emanation must make a fort save. or be swept up to 15 foot in another location of your choice within an area and become off guard until the start of your next turn. Then you're on a surface. A pillar rises underneath you and lasts for 1 minute. The pillar is 10 foot tall, and the surface includes your space and 5 foot emanation around you. After the pillar rises, you can attempt a melee strike on an enemy within reach. So yeah, you can basically raise the earth. You know, these things feel very Greek mythology, you know, kind of like even Polynesian mythology. These are about demigods and heroes doing fantastical things, and a lot of the feats have that feel about them too. So yeah, and let's just have a look at the icons real quick. 43. Here we go. Icons. So, as an exemplar, you select 3 icons at first level. Typically, you want to ensure at least one of your icons is a weapon. Bodily icons accentuate a physical trait on your body and cannot be stolen, disarmed, or dispelled or otherwise taken. Weapons are worn and tied to the item of power. When you select one, you gain a non-magic level 0 item of your choice that matches your usage entry. So, bands of imprisonment. You wear them on the ankles. These bands don't enhance your power, rather they keep your strength in check, honing your discipline. Keeping your mind sharp, you get a +1 to your will save and resistance to mental damage. Break free when you enter your transcendence, which is the spark transcendence. You can attempt to escape with a +2 benefit on your checks, then stride twice your speed in a straight line and make a melee attack. If you don't need to escape or you can't move or choose not to, you can still take the other actions listed. So yeah, basically, again, it is a way to break free of your bindings and charge forward. Barrow's Edge, which is a slashing or piercing weapon. Fletchling bangles, eye-catching spot, gaze as sharp as steel. So these imbuements are either on your person, on an item, on an artifact, and it's kind of like your iconic piece of legend is kind of what you see as well. So yeah, and there's quite a few options here. Like, I mean, how many pages are there? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's say 4.5 comfortably. There are 4.5 pages of things that you can use. Ranged weapons, melee weapons, worn items, tattoos, things like that. So there's a lot of flavor there, but I also don't see why a GM you couldn't make a few homebrews as well. So tons of cool things there. Then we have more of the story of the of our 2 heroes. More feats and options for the Nephilim, which I love. Honestly, a lot of this stuff is flavored around the whole mythic stuff. You don't need to be mythic to use it, but it is just flavored that way. You've got your Animist multi-class, your Exemplar multi-class. As I said, we have the Avenger dedication, which is very much the assassin. And the reason I get the assassin here is like there's the whole Shadow of Death, the Slay, the beatdown ability. This very much feels like a Slayer kind of character as well. So highly recommend checking that one out at some point. The Blood Rager dedication allows you to cast spells while you are in combat. Rising blood magic. Yep, so more magic. Spell Drinker. You can temporarily add spells to your repertoire, determined by the type of creature you drink the blood from. Blood Rager be bloodin', yo. Blood for the blood god. The Seneschal, as I said, your patron as a witch is gone, and you are trying to deal with that. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what this really entails. I'll have to read up more on it. I just thought it was an interesting idea. A patronless witch. The Vindicator. Love this. And I love the fact that they've gone with the blue instead of the red. What's the difference between multi-classing and dedication? Not a problem. It is the exact same thing. Multi-classing and dedication is identical. Multi-class just means that there is a base class that is associated with it, whereas a dedication doesn't have a base class. For example, a Vindicator, there is no Vindicator class that you would take to then add to your whatever class you've already had. Whereas there is the Animist class, but if you aren't an Animist and you want some Animist abilities, you would take what is effectively the Animist dedication. So they're the same thing, just one is a one has a base class, one does not. So that's that's it. Yeah, multi-classing doesn't really exist anymore. Also, hi Tass. Yeah. The Vindicator. So yeah, you've got the interrogation, you've got the opposing magics, you've got the hunting things, you've got the Vindicator's Mark and Judgment. I'm very excited about these guys. One of the things I learned about the stories that I'm very sad about, but you know, it's true, is there is no more Grey Gardeners. The Grey Gardeners are gone. Well, kinda. There's God stuff happens, but now there are Vindicators. So I'm still happy that they're around, but I'm sad that the Grey Gardeners are gone. But yeah. Warrior of Legend. The Warrior of Legend gives you stuff. Gives you legendary stuff. Know thy doom, only my doom may claim me. Yeah. This is all about doing legendary deeds and stuff. Now, if I had to guess, I would say that this allows you a little bit more access to some of the stuff, not the rules, but some of the methods of handling mythic games that is involved in this book. So that I think is where the Warrior of Legend really shines. Myths and legends, more story. What is mythic? So here is what mythic is. Mythic is basically you upping the level, basically upping the ante for your storytelling. If power is a thing you want to consider, like by doing things that'll save the world or save reality, then this is what mythic is all about. It starts by having its own progression that runs adjacent to your leveling progression. So as you level up, your mythic stuff levels up, regardless of when you become mythic. It's not like Pathfinder 1st Edition where you had your regular levels and your mythic levels. They level in tandem with one another. And then at whatever level tells you what abilities you get if you have mythic as a unlocked feature. Now, when you start by becoming mythic, you get a calling. Something basically says, hey, you are, something is calling to you from the divine. There are so many different types: acrobatics calling, artisanal calling, bookkeeper's calling, caretaker's calling. And what it is it's almost like a god. It's an anathema and a edict. Things that if you do well to follow your edicts, you gain mythic powers. If you fail them, you lose your mythic powers. And that's basically how the callings work. In addition, you also gain, those mythic deeds. So basically the quests that you're doing. It's a type of multi-classing. Kind of. If you remember Gestalt, or what that was back in the day, it's kind of like Gestalt. It's like another class progression. So that's kind of where it is. Who out of your players are predicting Dag? I want to restart my characters. Maybe. I would say if anyone, it'd be Marcus. I don't know. I feel like the only person who would do that because they're living life close to the edge would be Marcus, and Marcus always loves playing with new things. That'd be my guess. So yes, mythic. I haven't seen the, where is it? Did I miss it? Hold on. No, I didn't miss it. Anyway, there's actual progression chart which tells you when you can get feats and stuff. It's not on that page, which is weird, but yeah, you get feats. These are the feats, mythic feats, etc. And then more gazetteer stuff about what happened during God's reign to all of these different locations. So this is a huge gazetteer. Here we go. Path to Immortality, more story stuff. These are the new dedications that tie into the mythic stuff. Apocalypse Rider, which allows you to access the power of the what do you call it? Access the power of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. The Archfiend, tap into your infernal senses and use powers as given to you by the fiends. Descriptivist, Yoon and Korkai hanging out. Love that. Wasn't that in the web enhancement? Yes, it was. It was in the web enhancement. But I thought it was in here too somewhere. It should be in here somewhere. Ascended Celestial, so kind of the opposite of the Fiend stuff. You get more of the Celestial bonuses and boosts. The Beast Lord, which allows you to ward and make your animal companion more virulent, which is cool. Look at that. How badass is that? Oh, so cool. The Broken Chain. This Broken Chain dedication is more about the whole, like, the liberty thing, Milani, all that sort of stuff, liberation, freedom, etc. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in here somewhere. Yeah. Eternal Legend. So this one here, I mean, I know it sounds very obvious, but it does feel very much like the old essence of what the monk was about, finding the perfection in your body, becoming immune to diseases, and becoming immune to conditions and stuff like that. This is about your sense of self, your perfection of body is very much the feel of this archetype in particular. The Godling. The Godling is very similar to the Chosen. What's it called? I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called the Chosen One, but I feel like it's not. It was one of the ones from 3.5 that was basically the blessed by a god, if effectively. This, I know this is going to sound really weird, but this is basically your person on Earth who is a prophet or a person who is a spokesperson of the divine, coming to do the divine's work here, and that's kind of it. Have a wonderful day at work. You are doing God's work. You're amazing. Love your face. Mwah. Yeah. Okay. Assume godhood. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, the fact that you have an ability called Assume Godhood. You complete the apotheosis of living godhood, allowing you to embody. Yeah, you could serve a deity for class. Yeah. So basically, you become a god, sort of. Not actually a god, but like you become you basically follow the Hercules train. Prophesized monarch. This is kind of cool. This is. It reads very much like the Return of the King kind of thing, with someone who is able to take a lot of the leadership feats and abilities and powers and make use of them. Wild Spell is someone who overextends the use of their powers in magic. And when I say overextend, I mean to say that much like how we have the what do you call it? Meta magic feats and stuff like that enhance spells. The wild sorcerer is like the next step up. It's the next big thing, and it does so super well from what I've read so far. You become quasi deity. Yeah, quasi deity. King Arthurish. Yeah, King Arthur. Aragorn. That kind of thing for the monarch. 100%. I am whizzing through these, by the way, just because, like I said, I just wanted to touch on them, show you guys what was in it. But I want to play test them a little bit more before I'm like sitting there giving advice on like, you should do this, you should not do that, because, Mythic Vault, so this is all the stuff your players can use. So you got your armor stuff, your materials. There's actually an interesting weapon that they talk about in the story, which is like able to summon an army of fire. And it's not in here. That was a disappointment. I was like, oh, you talked up this spear that charged armies of fire in your world, and you didn't give me the stats for it. That was sad. Mythic artifacts. So you got like a ton of little artifacts here for people in the setting. There you go. Bunch of cool stuff. Mythic spells. So again, your next level of spell stuff. Now, at the moment, I don't think there are enough spells for the mythic spell, but some of them are very important spells, and you can feel how mythic they are. For example, the summoning of the Elephant of Jandalai, which is, again, a CR 25 creature. Or maybe that was a ritual that I'm thinking of. The Kaiju Barrier or whatever. Oh, Freedom and Imprisonment's back. That's cool. Kaiju Ward, there it is. So basically you protect things from the devastation caused by kaiju and stuff. So, So yeah, mythic rituals and things have definitely upped the ante. But I think they need more. I personally just think they need more. Oh, look at that. How badass is that? Cool. Mythic monsters. More story. Mythic templates. Here we go. So these are the mythic templates I mentioned. The mythic ambusher, the mythic brute, the mythic caster, and the mythic striker. Those are the 4 new ones. So the ambusher obviously gives you the ability to use kind of like stealth and subterfuge for your creature. Now, keeping in mind, your creature doesn't have to be skilled at those things in order to use it. You don't need to use Mythic Ambusher on like a Shadow or an Invisible Stalker. You can use Mythic Ambusher on a Stone Giant, for example. And, yeah, that could be an angle of it. So you don't have to be typecast based on what your skills are. The Mythic Brute, so same thing. Imagine a Mythic Brute Leprechaun. Would be funny. Be cool. Parked at the terminal now. Are you going somewhere, Cookie? If you are, I hope you travel well. Mwah. The Mythic variant rules, Pathfinder introduced the Trials variant rules. Trials aren't in the book. The book has non-variant mechanics named Deeds. Yes, yeah, Deeds are the effective trials that you go through, and the calling is what drives you towards them. Honestly, I see why they do it, but I like the idea of, instead of the callings being so rigid, I feel like I wish there were custom callings that you could design. Like it taught you how to make your own callings for your players and stuff. Mentions granting feat at any other time other than mythic. Yeah, so mythic levels. I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm going mad. Hold on, let me see if I can find this before I get too far, right? Because I feel like I'm going mad, but I swear I've seen it. Yeah, maybe I'm just going mad, but I swear I saw the table. I swear I saw the table of where you get mythic feats, and it was just your usual 1 to 20 table. But I could be mad. I have been known to just make shit up. Yeah, must have made it up. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, the ferry. Ah, fair enough. Oh, there we go. Well, I mean, maybe I didn't need it. Mythic feats. You gain an additional mythic feat at 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th level. Page 81. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think all it was, maybe I just plastered it in my mind. But these levels are not quote unquote mythic levels. They are your current level, but once you are mythic, they like all your levels count towards mythic. As long as you are following your calling and doing the deeds, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of it. So yeah. And what page is that on? That's on page 77. So there you go. Mythic rule summary right there. So yeah. Okay. You might be a bit mad. Yeah, fair. All right, where was I at? Monsters. So yes, we have the Brute. We have the Caster. I love the fact that it's a Lich because I love Liches. Look at that guy. Brilliant. I'm not even going to change that. Look at the Goom stats for me. And the Mythic Striker. Now, the Mythic Striker, I gotta say this. From what I briefly see about the Mythic Striker, concerns me. I think that's going to make a lot of things very hard. If I had to say, I'd probably say that it boosts up the CR effectively by more than they're registering it. Because you deal an extra D6 precision strike. You get high mobility. Unimpeded. For 1 mythic point, it automatically ends one effect that would give it a penalty to its speed. And when it escapes an immobilized, grapple, or restrain, it automatically succeeds. So there is no stopping these things. So, worried about... Not like, oh my god, this is going to break the game, but I could see this being a problem. Alright, then we got the creatures. As I mentioned, the identity-stealing demon. I love the fact that they've actually given you ideas for low-level campaigns, mid-level campaigns, and high-level campaigns in this book. Honestly, fucking chef kiss. Even though the creature is a CR 20, 21, it says, hey, you shouldn't have a direct confrontation with this dude, but here's some ideas anyway to have this dude in an adventure with you. This is fucking amazing. This is incredible. 100%. I wish they did this with almost every... I wish they do this with every mythic villain that they come up with. So yeah, gives you a whole bunch of story ideas, gives you a bunch of like things to go off. Then you've got the Immortal Trickster. Again, same thing. You've got like ideas for the story. This guy's super cool. Basically steals stuff, causes mischief wherever he goes. Then the kaiju Agira, the two-headed kaiju. And yeah, Agira is too formidable for low-level people to face. However, she can still serve as a focal point for their adventures. They might be enlisted by a would-be kaiju hunter or researcher to collect information about such creatures' habits and weaknesses, which would entail visiting far-flung and dangerous locales and perhaps places as Pahulu, where knowledgeable individuals can be consulted. To gain the trust of the people who have suffered from Agira's attacks, the PCs might have to help the survivors in Watergrave recover from their trauma, seek vengeance, or simply get back on their feet after losing everything to its lightning. So yeah, I love the fact they are giving you stories. Let's see where we at. Also gives you some mythic deeds too with each of these guys, which is cool. The Elephant of Jandalai, freaking massive fucking thing. How big are you? You are gargantuan. I feel like you were bigger than gargantuan though. How big is the kaiju? Kaiju is also gargantuan. Huh. I thought you guys were bigger. I think they shrunk them down. I feel like giving them, because I mean maybe that's gargantuan. How big are you? See, I feel like you're bigger than gargantuan. Whatever. Whatever. There you go. Yep, same thing. The Sublime Breath. There we go. Is a craftsman. Spirit of art and expression. So there you go. Somebody who might craft something amazing for your group. Mythic deeds, mythic things. Virax that was. Yes. So this was a Rovagug spawn who died. God's Reign happened. It woke up. So now, again, we've got another CR24 that's running around. Hey, good evening, Millsy. We are just skim reading a book, War of the Immortals, which is the new mythic book from Pathfinder. But yeah, slingshot and a ball bearing and you'll stop it. Hey, I mean, it's worked on things before. The Sloth Stone, so lots of stories, lots of things. The Weaver and Web, which again goes into the shadowy, nightmarish thing that is whatever the fuck this is. Look at it, creepy ass piece of shit. So there you go. Cool. And that is, in a nutshell, what is in this book. You can see that obviously it says it's connected to the God's Reign novel, which I haven't read, but I hear it's quite good. Maybe we'll do that as one of the DAG reads. Maybe I'll buy the book and then we'll read it. War of the Immortals, this book here, which covers mythic adventures and stuff. Then Divine Mysteries, which is going to be coming out at the end of the month, which is going to go into more of the what's going on in the divine realm of things. And then Pray for the Dead, Pray for Death, which is the actual adventure associated with the death of Gorum. So there you go. All of the things. Now, going back to our quick review, how do I feel about this book? I'm glad that they've brought Mythic in, and I'm glad that they've done it in such a spectacular way. Like I said, one of the biggest things that I have approved of is that this is a coming-of-age book. This is a book that is telling us that just like when First Edition went to Second and the Tyrant's Grasp changed the scope of what was happening in First Edition to Second, we are now seeing the end of the Age of Lost Omens, and we are now entering a new era. What was the era called? It wasn't called God's Reign. It was called... It is called... Oh, it's called the War of the Immortals. War of Immortals. There you go. So that is the new era. That's the new thing. So God's Reign is the event, War of Immortals is the new era. And I'm glad that they've, again, taken the time to give this book a lot of attention. The two new classes, I think, are going to be really, really fun. They're going to be great. They're adding things that we haven't seen before. Mythic games are going to be a lot more, I think, accessible compared to what they were in First Edition. First Edition, I always likened it to putting rocket fuel in a on a motorbike. You could do it, but you better keep up as a GM. But this seems very, very well structured and very, very easy for me, at least as a GM, to be able to grab my hands on and just enjoy. So there you go. All right, we've had a look at the book. We're done. I'm home. I'm alive. Be sure to come and tune in on Sunday when we will be back doing some stuff for our Pathfinder 2nd Edition game of Gatewalker. Maddie, I see you. Welcome in. I hope you're well. It's been a while. I would ask you what all your things are, but dinner awaits me, so I'm gonna go and eat it. But if I do, take a time, send us a message on Discord and stuff, or come hang out in the Discord chat, because I'd love to catch up, and I'd love to hear what's going on with you. Yeah, so Gatewalkers definitely on Sunday, so be sure to be there and come check out all the fun shenanigans. Yeah, guys, I'm home. I'm back. We're gonna be having a great time. We're going to be doing some cool stuff. I've been inspired by so many new things, so look forward to a lot of fun in the near future. So, guys, stay safe, stay wonderful, be kind to each other, because why the fuck not? It's free. And until we meet again, game hard or die trying. Love your faces. Ciao, ciao. Oh, the War of Immortals is an era, but I think the age is still the Age of Lost Omens. Is it? Okay, you know what? Descriptivist, I will check on that. I will learn on that. I will figure it out. Because, yes. Because you're right. I mean, it could still be the Age of Lost Omens, because it's not like that's changed. But so much of the world has changed from the Age of Lost Omens time. I feel like it is a turn of an age. I feel like it is. Maybe it is, maybe it is. I mean, we'll find out. Yeah.